Alice, and I am currently doing my third year at Life Science at Queen's University. I came to Canada when I was 5.5 years old from Guangzhou in China, and I did elementary school here as well as high school at the University of Toronto Schools at UTS. And at Queen's, I am now in my third year. Past 2 summers, I've been doing research regarding epidemiology. It's a field that I'm currently interested in. And just in November, I presented some of my research from the summer at the Canadian Undergraduate Conference on Healthcare, which is also held at Queen's University every year. So I did an oral presentation in front of various undergraduate students as well as some judges who are master's and PhD students. And among the 9 competitors, I placed in the top 3. It was a wonderful experience, and I look forward to participating again next year.
So you say you're in top 3, right? So
yes.
What's about, can you tell us more about that contest?
The competition is divided into either oral presentation or poster presentation. So with the oral presentations, there are 9 contestants, and each one does a 9-minute presentation, which is rather difficult to try to summarize a full project. So we have PowerPoint slides that we go through.
So what's the content?
So the content.
What have you presented during that?
Right. So the research that I presented was from this past summer, which I did at the Center for Disease Modeling at York University. And basically what we're trying to figure out is looking at hospital-acquired healthcare infections. So the rate of hospital-acquired infections has been increasing over the past 20 or 30 years due to an increasing rate of antibiotic-resistant pathogens. And so that makes it more difficult for us to control an outbreak in a hospital when that happens. And so research in this field is very important, particularly for the government, because they are involved with coming up with effective prevention policies, trying to effectively control an outbreak, preferably before it happens or while it's happening, trying to minimize the damage that's caused. So the research specifically that I was doing was trying to look at the different transmission routes that are caused, which basically are either through a healthcare worker or through either acquired through the environment in a hospital or through the equipment used by the healthcare workers. So those are the 3 primary routes. And what we were trying to look at was to see whether certain transmission routes caused more extreme outbreaks, either in terms of the duration of the outbreak or the number of patients that it actually affected. And so if we were to be able to find the most severe transmission route, then that's an effective way for either the government to come up with prevention policies to target the most severe transmission route to most effectively contain the outbreak.
Okay. Well, that's only the research, all right? So if you send it to the Ministry of Health or some other department, will they consider that this is good recommendation?
Yes, so the research is still ongoing. Our primary mode of research is analyzing data that's been collected since the 1960s. So that's data that's from hospitals from all around the world that's been published. And so this project was initiated by the Public Health Agency of Canada. So it was partially funded by them, but it was taken on by the Center for Disease Modeling. So my supervisor and I are in charge of kind of analyzing that data. We're still in progress of analyzing the data, so we haven't come to full conclusions yet. But once that does happen, it will be published in a scientific journal.
So will your research help contain those like SARS or those like epidemic outbreaks?
Right, specifically within a hospital. Yeah.
So really, you really liked it, and you really, want to the medicine industry.
Right, it's very, epidemiology is a field that's very close to medicine. So epidemiology is basically the study of how diseases are spread and the different factors that influence how quickly those diseases are spread or how severe those diseases are spread.
So your future goal to be a doctor or a specialist?
Future goal would be doctor preferably, but epidemiology is one of my interests as well, and there are a lot of doctors who are epidemiologists, and it's also a useful skill to have if I were ever to conduct a clinical trial. Yeah.
So say you're in the third year, right?
Yes.
So do you enjoy, say you come at 5 or 6 years old in Canada, so you're fully adapted to the Canada environment?
Absolutely, I'm very fully adapted. I think part of it was because I went to UTS. It was the culture there was very, helped me fully emerge into Western Canadian culture.
Okay. So, for example, if you stay in China, will you get the same opportunity like the one in Canada?
Absolutely not. I think Canada is a lot more involved in getting students to participate in research at a young age. From what I've heard from PhD students in China doing either some kind of research, what I've heard is that mostly for undergraduates, it's very unlikely for undergraduate students in China to do research. So definitely here it's very much so encouraged, especially for pre-medical school students. That's basically almost a prerequisite if you want to get into medical school. So you have to do some kind of research. So Canada is great for that kind of opportunity.
So how you compare yourself with other immigrant youth? In terms of schooling, in terms of like living in Canada?
That's an interesting question.
So if you have a good mom and you study, work hard, and then is that right? Or have you in the schooling?
I guess yes. My mom did train me very, very hard academically, but I think I also try to get involved as much as I can within the school community, both within high school and in university. And I think especially for immigrant students, I think that's an important opportunity to take part in, to kind of engage with the other students, either Asian or non-Asian, and that helps them immerse themselves in the culture more and kind of understand the culture more.
So you have no difficulty like emerging?
Absolutely not. No difficulty.
Any advice or new immigrants?
I would just try to advice for new immigrants. I would try to participate in as many extracurricular activities as possible within the school. Join clubs, join student associations, make your own club, be active in sports, all that kind of thing. Just basically be in contact with the other students as much as possible and talk to the teachers a lot. I think that really helps us understand our culture. Yeah.
Besides English, you still have mastered your Chinese languages?
Chinese languages, I've mastered it somewhat. I'm more fluent in terms of speaking. Writing and reading are a little bit more challenging just because I'm not exposed to it as much or as regularly, but I do speak fluently with my parents.
So then what's your future ambitions?
Future ambitions at the moment would be to apply for medical school. And I would also probably apply for a master's in epidemiology as well. Either one I would be very happy with. Yeah.
Good. Thank you.